You ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you get paid for this podcast. What I like about it is starting using it is how easy it is to use. I just upload old episodes of my podcast. I placed it other places, do some editing and tinkering, and voila, that's it. It's that simple. So if you always wanted to start your own podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. And now, let's get on with the show. You ever felt you're being watched sometimes? Have you ever had a cold shiver run down your spine? Sometimes we go through that. Sometimes we look for answers to questions we don't really truly understand. Like, are we truly alone in the universe? Is there life after death? This world is weird. It gets weirder by the day. And in that weird are questions that we have as curious beings known as humans. Tonight, we look into some of those questions and get a little weird. Because we all are just a tad bit weird. Tonight on Weekend Weird. Welcome to Weekend Weird, the show about the weird and mundane that's going on across this world and the universe. I'm your host, producer, creator, Mr. Everything, the captain of the ship, the man with the plan, your favorite podcast host, RedNick. And we're still doing the quarantine episodes. Well, this time, me, like we told you the last episode, that myself, and Ogul are fully vaccinated, but Ogul is out of town this episode. So we're recording remotely again. Might be that way for the near future. Maybe sometime during the summer we'll get back in the studio, me and him again. This episode we'll be talking about UFOs. Why? Because it's May. And you know what May means on Weekend Weird? It's UFO Alien Month, where we ask you get back outside, especially after this full year, and watch the skies. So we're going to be doing two stories again, like we did some of the previous episodes, a bunch of stories with two stories. One on the Ariel School phenomenon, where a bunch of school kids in Zimbabwe back in 1994 saw what would be considered an unidentified flying object and possible extraterrestrial creatures, a mass sighting of 62 kids. And also we're talking about how the United States government possibly, and I say the words possibly, confirmed the existence of unidentified aerial phenomenon or UFOs. UFOs. This is how they possibly did it, and how a huge report will be released in the next coming weeks on this issue. So, without further ado, myself and Ogul will be discussing these topics a weekend will. So, here we go to the episode that was recorded earlier in the week. Y'all enjoy. Yo!
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
After I just talked to you a couple of minutes ago, but yeah.
Yes. That's that'll be left on the editing room floor.
yes. People was like, "Hey, how you doing? I just talked to you a couple of minutes ago. What the fuck am I talking about?"
What's up, man?
I'm all right, man. Finished eating. I'm refreshed. Got my pants off. I'm ready to go.
Nice. Let's get to it.
Yes. All right. Well, as everyone knows, it's UFO Alien Month here on Weekend Weird. This is the month of May. We say that May is the beginning of summer, and that's when people are going to be outside, especially after dealing with the past year that we have dealt with. Of course, we're going to be out in the skies if you're vaccinated, which me and Ogul are. So if you're not vaccinated, get yourself vaccinated now. So you could join the skies and travel like me and Ogul will be this summer. So there might be a period of time before we leave on our summer vacations where we have to record a string of episodes. So it's the first one.
Indeed. I am looking forward to it very much so.
Yes. And since this is UFO Alien Month, we're only going to do one podcast for this month, but it'll be on two stories, two very different, but still stories that you can't really blow off and just say, oh, it's someone's crazy or it's swamp gas, as like the U.S. government used to say with certain UFO sightings. Oh, it's just swamp gas. I still never got that.
What do they call it? Light refractions?
Yes, or Mars. You were looking at Mars or Saturn.
Or a weather balloon.
Yes. There's a whole history on that, which we'll get into on a different date, maybe next year or later on this year, about some of the explanations the government have given for UFO sightings over the years. All of them dumb. But
all of them. Like, it's almost as if like they know that we know that it's bullshit when they put out those claims.
I just wanted to be the first guy the first guy in the history that had to debunk a UFO sighting. It had went, oh, it's thought gas. And
just like laid back in his like 1950s Mad Men style office chair, just like feet up on the desk, just like just tell him it's swamp gas.
So it's swamp gas, and just reporters just sit up and look at him and go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Did he say swamp gas?
Yes, he said swamp gas.
Sir, are you feeling all right?
Like, are you smoking the funny cigarettes these kids are out here smoking? We'll be taking a look at two stories. The first story we talking about is the Ariel School sighting encounter, which happened in Zimbabwe back in 1994. And the second story is current event that the United States government has possibly confirmed that UFOs or unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomenon exist. So we're going to have to go on this show and go, Tom DeLonge of Blink 182 was right. God damn it. I gotta apologize to that guy. But first we're gonna talk about the Ariel School phenomenon. Ogul, you want to give some thoughts about how you feel about UFOs and people who have forgotten over the years?
My thoughts on UFOs are statistically, mathematically, realistically speaking, since we cannot be the only ones in this universe, in the observable universe, and given how wide and expansive the universe is, given how many light years certain planets, stars, and galaxies are away from us, when thinking about how many years, thousands, if not millions of years have passed between the Big Bang and where we find ourselves, not where we find ourselves now, but how many millions of years other civilizations could have advanced prior to us.
Right.
The realm of, it's within the realm of possibility that aliens have developed, enough technology to be able to visit other galaxies and planets. Just the same way we would if we had the technology. Just the same way we do with the limited technology we have now. We've gone to Mars, we've gone to the moon. If someone came in tomorrow and said, we have the technology to take us to Andromeda Galaxy, we would.
Right, yes.
And I think just, I don't know, like, I don't mean to humanize an alien civilization or other species or whatever you want to call them. But like, I feel like given how expansive and unexplored the universe is, it would be a common trait among living things to explore and to just figure out what's out there. It's the thing that, drives all humans to their core, to figure out the unknown. So in a very long-winded way, to answer your question, my feelings about UFOs is they're real. They have visited the Earth. We have decades and decades of eyewitness testimony, along with photographic, video, and as you'll see later in this episode, military testimony and evidence to prove as such. So that's my feeling on UFOs.
Yes, and everyone knows my feeling of UFOs. It's possible. I'm not saying that it's not possible. It is possible. A lot of stories that they cannot even say conclusively what it was. It could be something from out of this world, or it could be some sort of phenomenon that happens on this earth that we're not particularly sure of. A lot of these stories I don't throw away. Some of these stories are absolutely ridiculous. But I have an open mind when it comes to UFOs. There's certain stories you just hear and it's just like, that is absolutely freaking ridiculous, and I don't believe it. In other stories, we just got to go, okay, more investigation is absolutely needed. Maybe we can come up with the answer. If we don't come up with the answer, it's okay to say, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's something definitely to keep in mind. Don't go inventing answers where there are none.
Right.
And I think the study of ufology and this pursuit of trying to prove that we've been visited can often lead down that path of, we don't know what happened, therefore it must be aliens. And I think that's very that's a very wrong approach. Don't work back to your conclusion. But having said that, I think just like, there are two camps when it comes to if you believe in UFOs or not. Like, do you believe in the possibility that they're real, or do you believe that the stories of people on this earth have been visited? Because like, you don't have to subscribe to both ideologies. You could say theoretically they're possible, but they have not visited here. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to believe we've been visited. I guess it kind of it goes back to this, like, it's a bit dogmatic, right? Like, to believe in the existence of something without evidence. So like, I fully understand that me saying like, it's mathematically possible and that there must be aliens out there, it's a bit dogmatic. I completely understand that.
Right.
It's a bit faith-based there. And I guess that's where, like, in all religions, there's like the spiritual side of the belief and like the physical side, the physical side of religion, where like Jesus walked the earth type of, side of the argument. So like, I think belief in UFOs kind of falls there too. Like, do you believe they were here? They've been here and